This is the Learnit Lounge, a podcast brought to you by Learnit. In each episode, I sit down with HR and L&D leaders to explore how learning programs have sparked real change, unlocked growth, built trust, and transformed the way that teams work. Hosted by me, Dr. Mickey Fitch-Collins, a facilitator and learning designer at Learnit, this podcast brings you the stories behind successful learning strategies, direct from the people driving them. Learnit is a live learning platform that's helped over 2 million professionals thrive inside some of the world's most respected companies. If you're looking for a partner to help you do the same, our contact info is in the show notes. Welcome to the Learnit Lounge, where learning leads to measurable impact. You don't get a seat at the table by asking for one. You earn it by bringing something that the table needs. One of the biggest mistakes we make in the world of learning and development is assuming that great design just speaks for itself. That if our solutions are thoughtful and they're well structured, they're backed by research, thought leaders, best practices, that our businesses and organizations are just going to automatically see their value. But that's not how it works. Too often, we walk into leadership conversations armed with a whole bunch of learning metrics. Here's the completion rates, here's the smile sheets, here's the course catalogs. And we walk out wondering, why didn't we get the budget? Why didn't we get the buy-in? Why didn't the momentum ever start to roll? But here's the reality is that most executives and most organizations don't speak learning and development. They speak business, and we need to meet them there. So here's what I'm going to suggest to you. Is that you need to start by shifting your vocabulary. Replace the term learning objective with business outcomes. This might seem like a really small move, but it is a big shift. Business outcomes speak to what the organization wants and needs. Learning objectives just speak to the act of learning, which doesn't necessarily get to the outcome of the business. Replace terms like evaluation with enablement. The more we can enable our employees, our individual contributors, our people leaders to be able to do stuff, the more we're going to be able to achieve said business outcomes. Replace terms like engagement with impact on performance, impact on retention, impact on productivity. Before you go into any stakeholder meeting, ask yourself, what keeps this person up at night? Do I know? Do I have any ideas? Am I just operating on assumptions? And am I just going in there with my own agenda? But rather ask myself or ask the question, what metrics matter most in this person's world? What story would make them care? Panjwani calls this over-communicating with business context. It's not just about spamming your stakeholders with a bunch of corporate talk. It's about embedding what you do in the world of learning and development into what they care about. Author and leader Keith Ferrazzi echoes this when he challenges teams to apply this engineering mindset to collaboration. It's not just about doing the work and checking the boxes and getting the task list done. It's about understanding the system, understanding the metrics that are important to somebody else, and understanding the leverage points that drive the actual business results. I can remember a time a few years back in another organization, I once prepared this beautifully designed career development, mentorship, leadership program thing. I was so excited about it. I had really clear objectives. I had spaced out learning. I had lots of practical application points, the whole package. I went into the room and I pitched it to the other executives that were in that room. I led with the modules and the methods. But what happened is I looked over and the CFO had kind of a squirrely look on his face. And he stopped me and he said, but how does something like this actually reduce all of the regrettable and problematic attrition that we're having in our organization? I didn't actually have a clear answer. And what happened is the project stalled. That moment taught me they don't want your program. They want what your program makes possible. Let that sink in for a moment. They don't want your program. They want what your program makes possible. Since then, I always lead with the outcome first: retention, ramp time, productivity, risk. And then I show how learning enables this. Notice that language shift that I brought in there? How learning enables this. To speak the language of business, here's the thing is you don't need to have an MBA. You need empathy, you need context, you need clarity. That means you need to translate your work into their metrics. You need to prep with their point of view, not just your plans and your structures. You need to frame solutions in terms of business problems. When you do that, learning and development stops being a cost center to the organization. It becomes a lever for performance. If this episode sparked something for you, if this made you pause, if this made you think, please go ahead and subscribe to the Learnit Lounge. Please go ahead and connect with me on LinkedIn. Let me know, what is one learning and development phrase you are just ready to retire? And what's the business version you're going to use instead? We'll see you next time on the Learnit Lounge. Keep that cup full, keep your mind open, and we'll see you for the next great conversation.